Today is April 1st, 2026. But April 1st, 1990 saw the Ultimate Challenge take place as the Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior, would defend his Intercontinental title against Hulk Hogan, the WWF Champion, who was defending his WWF title against the Ultimate Warrior. It was title for title in the main event at WrestleMania 6 from Toronto Skydome in Canada, and it happened on this very day. So I feel what better way to show the history of WrestleMania 6 than on this day. And we start off with the WrestleMania 6 program. You see the Ultimate Warrior with the yellow Intercontinental title, looking very, very colorful. The fluorescent green and pink and orange. Back then in the early 90s, it was all about fluorescent colors. They popped. You really got to see how bright they were. And the Ultimate Warrior was the perfect example of showing off what fluorescent colors were all about. I remember those Varney shirts that were always fluorescent pink or blue or green or orange. That was the in style then. And Warrior capitalized by having that image. Hulk Hogan with his traditional yellow and red with the Hulk Rules t-shirt and bandana now. No more Hulkamania. That's long gone. It's now Hulk Rules. And they were getting ready to have one of the biggest main event matches in WrestleMania history. March 1990, Hulk Hogan faces his Ultimate Challenger at WrestleMania 6. So this is a very special magazine that if you open up, the other side behind Hogan is like a fold-out poster. It's the Ultimate Warrior with the Intercontinental Championship. Looking back, I kind of wish they would have just released this magazine in alternate covers. So you either get the Hogan one or the Warrior one instead of folding it out. Because I would have bought both of them. And it would have been nice to have seen the Warrior on the cover as well with the Intercontinental Championship getting ready for WrestleMania 6. This magazine also shows us Demolition losing their belts to the Colossal Connection and Sapphire being there as Dusty Rhodes' manager. A lot of information in this magazine is kind of like leading into what we're going to see at WrestleMania 6. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, June 1990. Hogan versus Warrior. Why WrestleMania 6 won't settle this feud. So, Stanley Weston magazines really hyping into this now because this is a pretty big event. Hogan versus Warrior might be on par with Hogan versus Andre from 3 years earlier. Yes, Hogan and Savage was really good the year before. When the Mega Powers Explode will always be my favorite WrestleMania main event storyline in history. It was a year and a half in the making, and it had really, really good storytelling. But Hogan and Warrior, for the short time they had to really put this together, jam-packed a lot in 3.5 months? From the Royal Rumble to Saturday night's main event to the main event to all the run-ins on Superstars or Wrestling Challenge, and then leading up to WrestleMania with their big main event match. Inside Wrestling, May 1990, WrestleMania 6 main event, Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior, an exclusive preview and analysis. Yes, it's set. It's going to happen. Warrior versus Hogan. Everyone was excited about it back then. I remember the Royal Rumble situation when both those men met eye to eye in the ring, when there was just those two. The place erupted. The fans wanted to see it. Hell, even Bobby the Brain Heenan and Mr. Fuji stayed at ringside to see this go down. Yes, I know they had wrestlers coming down to the ring soon, but I'm pretty sure once your men were eliminated, you had to go to the back and then come out again. So the fact that they stayed out there to see this was pretty remarkable. Wrestling Fury, August 1990. The making of WrestleMania 6, sizzling photos. So, Wrestling Fury, of course, another style of wrestling magazine that's not Stanley Weston. It's kind of like I don't want to say the lesser of wrestling magazines, but I feel like back then it was WWF magazines first and foremost. I think all the fans, all the kids wanted those. And then underneath it was the Stanley Weston ones. It's like, well, if I can't get the WWF one, I'll get the Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Or if I can't get the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, I'll get the Inside Wrestling. It just seemed like there was a pecking order. Wrestling Fury, I feel, was very low on that list because it wasn't part of those magazines. But Wrestling Fury and other magazines like Main Event, they had a lot of great pictures and visuals in their magazines, maybe more so than the Stanley Weston ones. So these magazines are worth picking up from time to time if you want to see some cool stuff. June 1990, the WWF magazine, WrestleMania 6, all the results and pictures. There you see the Warrior on the cover, holding the Intercontinental title and the WWF title. His face paint completely off because he just had that hard-fought, like what was it, maybe 20, 25-minute match with Hulk Hogan? It was intense. It was crazy. I really thought Hulk Hogan was going to win. Looking back, I don't know why I thought that. Maybe because it's Hulk Hogan and I just didn't see Warrior as being the man yet. But also looking back now, seems kind of pointless why Hogan would win the Intercontinental title only to give it up, right? It kind of had to be Warrior to win it. So this is the complete result magazine for WrestleMania 6. Ultimate Warrior, one step toward history. Hulk Hogan, one step toward immortality. Big Boss Man targeting the $1 Million Man. Macho King Randy Savage grants a royal interview. Earthquake, what's the Hulkster going to do when he rumbles through? And Demolition out to make cracks in the Hart Foundation. So they're already getting ready to move into SummerSlam. You can see it there. Hogan and Earthquake, Demolition and Hart Foundation. Big Boss Man is now a good guy. He beat Akeem, his former partner at WrestleMania, and he was going to be going into a program with the $1 Million Man, but that kind of got sidetracked. If they must have worked house shows because they definitely didn't compete at SummerSlam. That's for sure. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, August 1990. The Ultimate Victory. Ultimate Warrior pins Hulk Hogan to win the WWF World Title. Another incredible shot of the Warrior with both belts on that cover. It's a special edition. A bonus full color section. All the action and drama of WrestleMania 6. So again, a perfect magazine to get if you want to see all the incredible footage and results and stories. This would be the magazine to go with for sure. Sports Review Wrestling, July 1990, also covered WrestleMania. Right on the cover there, you see a complete match-by-match coverage. So Sports Review Wrestling was always really good at taking whatever event was out at that time that they could write about and do like a show match by match by match and the results with that. They did wonders for a lot of the old NWA or WCW pay-per-views like Halloween Havoc 90 or Starrcade 90 or Wrestle War 91, stuff like that. They would go through and really show you like some pictures of the matches and then, the results. So they did it here with WrestleMania 6. August 1990, The Wrestler. Sign our petition now. Hogan Warrior 2. You can make it happen. So these are the pictures from the match at WrestleMania 6. And I guess, a lot of wrestling fans wanted to see them have a rematch, right? It just seemed fitting that you want to see if Hulk Hogan could get his win. It never happened in the WWF. Unfortunately, it happened in WCW at Halloween Havoc 98. That was a horrible match. I don't think anyone would say that is a great match. And it goes to show you how important it is to have agents or people in control of your match like the WWF has. They had Pat Patterson and such, help put together the Hogan Warrior match at WrestleMania 6. And it went off without any problems. It was a pretty perfect match when you consider it's the Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan. Wrestling 90 from summer 1990. Can they ever be friends again? Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior here shaking hands. People wondered, after that brutal, explosive main event match at WrestleMania 6, could these two ever be partners and work together again? Especially with the Ultimate Warrior holding Hulk Hogan's WWF Championship in 1990. And, suffice to say, yes, they did. They ended up teaming up here at the Survivor Series in 1990, which was a very interesting event because it was the first and only time where the winners from the Survivor Series matches would go into a grand finale and compete. So Hulk Hogan was the only victor on his team, so he went to the finals, as was the Ultimate Warrior, and as was Tito Santana. On the other side, the entire team of the Visionaries, being Rick Martel, the Warlord, and Power and Glory, all advanced to the finals, as well as the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. So it was 5 bad guys against 3 good guys in the finals. And of course, right off the bat, Tito Santana gave the flying forearm to the Warlord and pinned him, making it 3-on-4. Then Tito got eliminated, and it was 4-on-2 the rest of the show. But Warrior and Hogan, defeated the 4 of them and were victorious at the Survivor Series 1990. SummerSlam, match made in heaven, match made in hell. For the summer of 1991, Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior would find themselves in a tag team once again, only this time in the main event at SummerSlam against Sergeant Slaughter, General Adnan, and Colonel Mustafa, who used to be the Iron Sheik. So Hogan and Warrior were victorious over the Triangle of Terror, and Sid Justice was the special guest referee for that one, who just came into the WWF, leaving WCW. And they were going to kind of build Sid up to be the next Hogan, it felt like, or on par with Hogan. And that's when Hogan and Sid did the pose down at the end of the night while the Warrior chased the villains back with a steel chair. And of course, we would never see the Warrior again for 5 years for a year. I'm jumping way ahead there. For a year when he came back at WrestleMania 8, he left at SummerSlam 91 because he wanted more money. And Vince McMahon finally did it at the end and said, "You're fired." And then realized around WrestleMania 8 that he needed the Warrior back as Hogan was leaving. So Warrior would stick around again for a few months and be gone again until 1996. That's what I'm thinking of there, when he came back and only stayed around for a few months again and left. So the fact that we even got Hogan and Warrior is really impressive, considering Warrior there was kind of jerking around the WWF and Vince McMahon. Is that because, he got too big for his own britches? Maybe. The Warrior probably thought he deserved this and then some and all that because he was champion. And his title reign was okay. Let's be honest. The Ultimate Warrior's title reign was okay. But the most explosive thing that came out of the title reign was just winning it off Hogan at WrestleMania 6. He went into a feud with Ravishing Rick Rude in the summer of 1990, which, ended at SummerSlam in the steel cage match, which was the main event. And then Warrior got into a program, for some reason, tagging with Animal and Hawk, the Legion of Doom, in 6-man tags against Axe, Smash, and Crush, Demolition, in like this battle of like face paint between the 6 men. They even fought on a Saturday night's main event, those 3 against each other. And then at Survivor Series 90, it was Warrior, Legion of Doom, and the new Intercontinental Champion, the Texas Tornado, against Mr. Perfect and Axe, Smash, and Crush, Demolition. Interesting thing about that match, even though I know it's more so about then and not WrestleMania 6, Texas Tornado wore the Intercontinental title out that night at Survivor Series 1990, but just like days earlier at a TV taping for like the next few months, he lost the Intercontinental title to Mr. Perfect. So technically, Mr. Perfect should have been Intercontinental Champion at Survivor Series, but that title change wasn't going to air until like mid-December or late December. So it's kind of weird to think that now. But back then when there was no internet, you wouldn't know that. I didn't find that out till years later when reading on the history of WWE.com. They have all the arena results and such, right? And apparently, Mr. Perfect beat the Tornado like days before. But Warrior would end up then going into a feud with Sergeant Slaughter, losing the WWF Championship at the Royal Rumble to the Sarge, thanks to the Macho King Randy Savage, his interference, all because Warrior wouldn't give Savage a title shot, so Savage took the title off the Warrior, thus creating WrestleMania 7, which I will get into eventually when I do a video with Warrior, Savage, Hogan, and Slaughter. But as for the Ultimate Warrior's title reign, it was very, very good. I wouldn't say it was great. It could have been because of the opponents he had to work with. I mean, Rick Rude's a great opponent, but no, I don't think anyone believed that Rick Rude was going to win the WWF title in 1990. I know they had a great run with the Intercontinental title the year before with that feud. SummerSlam '89 was Warrior and Rude for the IC title, and a year later we get Warrior Rude for the WWF title in a cage as the main event. So it is cool that they both got to that main event level there. But I don't think any wrestling fan thought Rick Rude was going to win that title that night. And then to get stuck with 6-man tags against Demolition with the LOD as your partner, like on paper that looks awesome. But it also looks more awesome if you weren't WWF champion. Like, why is your champion in 6-man tags? Why isn't he defending the championship against some, enemies? Like, I honestly, like, they could have maybe pushed the Barbarian at the time to go after Warrior. They could have pushed even the Warlord. Like, they needed someone big. And I'm sure the matches wouldn't have been Barbarian would have been a better match against Warrior than Warlord. Nothing against Terry, but Warlord is a big guy. He's not the most mechanical in the ring for doing things, right? But yeah, I'm just saying, like, they could have did so much more with the Warriors' reign, and they didn't. The best thing that came out of it was this night, WrestleMania 6, the Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan, title for title, the Ultimate Challenge, April 1st, 1990, at the Sky Dome in Toronto, Canada. It was a huge event. It was the last WrestleMania that had the ring carts come to the ring, like they did in WrestleMania 3. And it was just, overall, WrestleMania 6 was a good show. I just read a story today that Marty Jannetty got drunk the night before and ended up going to some chick's home and slept with her, and then woke up the next day hungover, didn't know where he was or how to get back to the hotel or how to even get to the Sky Dome. And he just got there before his match, and he was all hungover wrestling in that tag match. Maybe that's why that tag match wasn't like the greatest. I didn't really like the Rockers against the Orient Express at WrestleMania 6. And I hated that the Rockers lost that too. I really thought, oh, this will be the Rockers' big win. But no, Orient Express got the win by countout, I believe it was. But that was also the Tanaka Sato version. The Tanaka Kato version at Royal Rumble 91 against the Rockers is the match you will definitely need to watch if you haven't yet. What else happened at WrestleMania 6? Demolition won back their tag titles, defeating the Colossal Connection, and Andre the Giant became a good guy again, beating up Haku and Bobby Heenan and kind of saying, screw you, Heenan family. I'm off on my own again. We had Brutus Beefcake defeating Mr. Perfect and cutting the Genius's hair again. The Hart Foundation defeated the Bolsheviks in like 30 seconds, if not less than that, with the Heart Attack clothesline move. We had Rhythm and Blues come. We had Diamond Dallas Page actually at his first WrestleMania driving out the pink Cadillac he owned with Rhythm and Blues in it, because they were looking for a pink Cadillac, and Dusty Rhodes, I believe it was, said, "Well, I know a guy that has one," and it was Dallas. And here's a weird fact about Dallas Page: he's only been in 2 WrestleMania events, and that was WrestleMania 6 from Toronto Sky Dome, where he drove the car, and WrestleMania 18 from Toronto Sky Dome, where he defeated Christian to retain the European Championship. So there's a little fun fact about Diamond Dallas Page for you. Earthquake defeated Hercules. Jim Duggan defeated Dino Bravo. Dusty Rhodes and Sapphire, with Miss Elizabeth in their corner, defeated Macho King Randy Savage and Queen Sherry in that mixed tag match. We saw Big Boss Man defeat Akeem, his former tag team partner. The $1 Million Man defeated Jake the Snake Roberts and got back his $1 Million championship that Jake had stolen and put in the bag where Damien the Snake was. Rick Rude beat Jimmy Snuka. Rick Martel beat Coco Beware. The Barbarian beat Tito Santana with that big devastating clothesline off the top rope. It was a fun show. Even the celebrities there were fun. There was just a lot of good skits. WrestleMania 6 is a good fun show. It's long. I think it's 3 hours and 45 minutes. So be prepared to, sit back and have a day full of wrestling there. Not as bad as WrestleMania 35, I think it was. That lasted 8 hours? I think it ended at like 1:30 in the morning or something like that when Becky Lynch finally won the title from Ronda Rousey and Charlotte in that 3-way. That was stupidly long. That was the most ridiculous longest WrestleMania ever, and I will probably never ever rewatch that. I'd rather sit through 3 hours and 45 minutes of WrestleMania 6 before that. So if you have some time today, maybe go on YouTube or the WWE Net. WWE Network is gone. go to Netflix. Yes, go to Netflix and watch WrestleMania 6. You're better off going to YouTube, probably to the WWE Vault. I'm sure they got clips on there of the matches, or maybe even the entire show itself, and you can just skip to what you want to see. It might be a little easier. So yeah, WrestleMania 6. Was it good? Did you guys like it? Who did you pick? Were you an Ultimate Warrior guy or a Hulk Hogan guy? But still, what an iconic moment. Like, even this cover is just so awesome. Sometimes I still have to pinch myself just looking at the fact that I have WrestleMania programs 1 through 10 for display to look at. I never thought I'd own those, and to have them now, it's just, to me, a true blessing. As weird as that is, like, it's just so cool what I've gotten over the years, and I keep doing it. I got a whole bunch of magazines today and yesterday, some programs. I'm gonna wait till the next. There's still one more haul of programs to come in. Then I'm gonna do a video on the programs I got lately, so you can see that in time. But I still got a few more WrestleManias I got to look back at. I'm waiting for. I want to do WrestleMania 7, but I'm waiting for a very, very important piece that I want to include. And for some reason, the jackass who I bought it off of eBay, I bought it off of March 27th, I believe. Yeah, March 27th. And today's April 1st. He still hasn't shipped it out. Like, nothing. And I have till, I think it says April 14th. If I don't have it by then, I can file a claim. So I hope I have it by then. I hope this guy's just not, gone away for a bit and not paying attention or something. It's just, also what sucks is Easter's this weekend. And in Canada, I don't know what it's like anywhere else, but in Canada, we don't have mail on Good Friday or Easter Monday. So if anything is coming, it's got to come tomorrow. If not, I'm probably not going to get it until Tuesday or Wednesday, and that sucks. And but it is what it is, Can't change that. All right, guys, let me know who you're going for. Was it Warrior or Hogan? Let me know if you watched it live or on Coliseum Video, and just keep those comments coming. They're fun. It's cool to interact with you guys. And until I do my next one, I'll talk to you later.